שלום ילדים, אני רוצה לסכם, to summarize, את השיעורים האחרונים שלנו בווידאו הקצר. הוא יהיה בין 3 ל-5 דקות. The video will take between 3 to 5 minutes and will summarize our last several lessons. קודם, מה המטרה? What is our goal? Our goal is written here in English. The students will understand that throughout history, wherever they were living, Jews yearned for the land of Israel and Jerusalem. יהודים תמיד התפללו, קיוו, רצו להיות בישראל ובירושלים. The students will have a sense of how Jews lived in different countries outside of Israel prior to the creation or the founding of the state. יהודים גרו בהרבה ארצות בעולם לפני שהקימו, לפני שעשו את מדינת ישראל. 3. The students will understand that Jews experienced anti-Semitism in different countries where they lived. יהודים סבלו מאנטישמיות בכל ארץ בעולם ששם הם גרו. The students will understand that the more organized movement of Zionism emerged from both. הציונות נולדה משני דברים. א', a deep-rooted connection of the Jewish people with the land of Israel. יהודים הרגישו את עצמם קרוב לארץ ישראל, and a lack of security in their place of residence. הם לא הרגישו בטוח, הם ידעו שלא ייתנו להם לקנות, לא ייתנו להם למכור, לא ייתנו להם ללמוד, לא ייתנו להם הרבה דברים. In the first lesson, we learned מה הקשר בין העם היהודי וארץ ישראל, שבמאה ה-19 קראו לה פלסטינה. What's the connection between the Jewish people and the land of Israel? העולים הראשונים במאה ה-19 היו בגיל 20 בערך. The first immigrants were around 20 years of age. What brings a 20-year-old young man or young woman to leave their land, to leave their parents, to leave their friends, and to move to another land? Important question. Come to it in a minute. HaTorah מבטיחה, the Torah promises לאברהם הבטחה ללא תנאים, an unconditional promise. ביום ההוא כרת אדוני את אברהם ברית לאמור, God made a promise, a covenant with Abraham, לזרעך נתתי את הארץ הזאת. I will give this land, the land of Israel, to your children, to your seed. ההבטחה הזאת עברה מאברהם ליצחק ומיצחק ליעקב. This promise went from Abraham to Isaac to Jacob and, most believe, down to your own time. Some of you in class felt that you don't have a connection with that promise. It happened 4,000 years ago. What does it have to do with you? Some of you felt that just like Abraham to Isaac and Isaac to Jacob and Jacob eventually down to you. Both of these answers are legitimate. We asked that you write your feelings in your notebook, and at the end of this course we will revisit whether you feel that this land is related to you and you to it or not. Do you feel part of this promise, part of this covenant? In Canada, Indians, native North Americans, have rights over their land. Biglal shehem garu sham lifnei alfei shanim, because they lived there thousands of years ago. When the government of Canada wants to dig for oil, when the government of Canada wants to pass an oil pipeline, when Hydro wants to pass its electric wires, they have to pay a price to the natives for passing over their land. If, by virtue of the fact that they lived there thousands of years ago, they have rights to the land, do Jews have rights to the land because they lived there 1,000 years ago? This is a central piece in the question of Israel and the Jewish people. In fact, not only that we feel connected to the land, but all of our holidays are celebrated according to the calendar that is established in Israel. It is in Jerusalem that the Jewish calendar is made. The Jewish people were kicked out from the land of Israel when the Romans came and destroyed the temple in the year 70. Most of the Jews went to exile. They were kicked out from their land. Those who left their land became slaves in Europe, and the land was mostly occupied by Arabs who worked for owners who didn't live on the land. The owners were wealthy Arabs who lived in Beirut and in Damascus. Beirut, the Damascus. For some reason, from the year 70 till the late 1800s, even though Jews spoke about the land of Israel in their prayers and in their Bible and all their holidays, nobody tried to create a Jewish country, a Jewish state, an independent Jewish state in this region. This entire region was part of a big empire called the Ottoman Empire. It was not divided up into countries. It was just one big piece of land. So countries like Iraq, Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, and Israel did not exist during those times. They were just empty territories, almost with no citizens. This is what the Ottoman Empire looked like. Today, this is called Turkey, and this entire land was part of that huge empire. There were 4 other empires in Europe: Russia, Germany, Austro-Hungary, and England. The Ottoman Empire was a weak empire. In fact, it was collapsing. But notice here that all the countries that exist here today did not exist. This little strip of land, which we call Eretz Israel, was called Palestine. There was never such a country, even though its name is on the map. Palestine was named by the Romans after the Philistines, hoping that if the name Israel will not exist, Jews will forget about their Judaism. We will see if that happened or didn't happen. What we know is for almost 2,000 years, Jews never expressed a desire to come to live here. What happened in the late 1880s to suddenly create an interest in this tiny little land? I told you its width is like from Montreal to Mont-Tremblant. Its length is like from Montreal to Toronto. In the narrowest point, its width is like the distance from school to the Olympic Stadium. A tiny piece of land that if you could lift it up, you could drown it in Lake Ontario. לבוא לארץ ישראל לא היה פשוט. There were no 747s. It took many weeks in a boat, or in a train, or by horse, or buggy, or even by foot. מאיפה באו היהודים לאירופה? רובם הגיעו לרומא כעבדים אחרי שבית המקדש נחרב. Jews got to Europe after the temple was destroyed as slaves. Even though the Jews were spread out all over Europe, they had a very difficult time because when Christianity was born, Jews were blamed for not accepting Jesus, and Jews were kicked out from just about every single country in Europe. Casimir, King Casimir of Poland, invited them, hoping that they'll bring business and business skills to Poland. So here is a map of how Jews left from Israel and went to all the countries in Europe and some into Africa as well. But when Casimir invited the Jews to come to Poland, they lived in this area of land called the Pale of Settlements. Pale of Settlements. 5 million Jews lived here, between Poland and part of Russia. But we're going to study anti-Semitism in Eastern Europe and in Western Europe. I now realize that my labels on the map are reversed. This is Western Europe and this is Eastern Europe. We're going to study how anti-Semitism here was different from anti-Semitism there, and then we will try to figure out what caused Jews to come to live in Eretz Israel. We will see you in class on Thursday. This video was a little bit longer than I had hoped. It's actually 12 minutes long. Have a nice day.